So there is a massive and justifiable uproar in the Tarkov community at the moment over a $250 pay-to-win DLC. It's been covered by all the big game journalists, a bunch of commentary YouTubers, and even mainstream media sites like Forbes. I will give you the Cliff Notes version of the Tarkov controversy in just a moment to make sure we are all on the same page, but the specific evolving story with Tarkov is only partially relevant, because the point of this video is not just one soulless company doing typical anti-consumer BS that we've seen hundreds of times before all across the industry. It's about how these money-grubby games companies just copy monetization strategies that have already worked in the past for a different developer, introduce it in their own game, and dial it up to 11. That's right, what Battlestate, Tarkov's developer, is doing is not new. They are copying exactly, and I mean exactly, what has already been done before in the live service gaming industry. And for anyone who is holding out hope that Battlestate will backpedal under the weight of the backlash and face any sort of consequence, well, do I have bad news for you? G'day everyone, it's Taylor MB here, and today we're looking at how Tarkov's new monetization strategy is actually an already established and effective exploitative system that has been proven to generate obscene amounts of money for developers, despite what initially appears to be a significant backlash. But what is this monetization that has caused such a stir in the Tarkov community and beyond? From Forbes. First issue that fans have is that the player versus environment mode for Tarkov is exclusive to those who buy the new edition. This is despite the fact that anyone who purchased the old Edge of Darkness edition was promised all future DLC content as part of the season pass, which you would think would include this new mode. So back in 2016, players could pay the hefty price of $100 USD for the Edge of Darkness DLC. How is the DLC at that price point justifiable? Because it came with the guarantee of all future access to DLCs being completely free. So diehard Tarkov players made a future investment in the game they love so much. They had so much faith and trust in the developers to pay for something that wouldn't pay off for them for years to come, only to now get the rug completely pulled out from under them, with the developers adding further insult to injury by expecting another $250 to get access to what they have already paid for. Needless to say, the backlash has been swift. The reaction to the new edition has been so negative that all but 3 channels in the official Escape from Tarkov Discord server have been silenced, with users not able to post in them. Moderators on the game's subreddit are also waiving the rule that prevents multiple posts about the same topic, saying that they are just as livid about the situation as you. How did the Tarkov team justify reneging on what was such a straightforward deal? By redefining the term DLC. PvE game mode is not DLC. DLC, in our understanding, is the major additions to the game. And that is therefore somehow magically exempt from being called DLC. A very brain-dead take by the developers. Backlash has been so severe that there's also been talk of a class action lawsuit against Battlestate over false advertising, with the developer reportedly already removing incriminating dev diaries from their YouTube channel to bury evidence of the original promise of future access to all DLC for the original Edge of Darkness purchases. Now, this is still very early days, and all talk of internet justice has to be taken with an unhealthy large serving of salt. But regardless, it does warm my cold, dead heart just a little bit to see gamers standing up for themselves. And the pushback from players has worked a little bit. Nikita from Battlestate Games has been pumping out Reddit updates over the past 48 hours, desperately trying to quell the flames of revolt in the community. The links to these updates will be in the description for your own read-in pleasure, but the long and short of the updates is, the developers tried to take 100% of the cake, realized they couldn't get away with it, and are giving back a mere 10% as a peace offering. This is not a win for the gaming consumers, and this is not a win for the Tarkov players. The developers are still getting what they wanted. This is a very common tactic in the gaming industry for companies to announce some egregious monetization and then listen to the community feedback and roll it back just a little bit to seem like the good guys. But this is all calculated ahead of time. They know that they were never going to get 100%, but they look like the heroes when they listen and only take 90%. How am I so sure? Well, despite this happening across the gaming live service industry, it has also affected me personally, because the AAA developer of my previously most beloved game has done this exact same thing. Bethesda's Elder Scrolls Online. I have almost 5,000 hours in ESO, with the early days of my YouTube channel featuring hundreds and hundreds of individual videos of mostly PvP content from ESO. So I am intimately aware of how ZeniMax Online, a fully owned subsidiary of Bethesda, pulled this exact same stunt with ESO that Battlestate is now pulling with Tarkov. And I am sorry to inform any Tarkov players watching this video, Bethesda didn't backpedal on this monetization strategy, and neither will Battlestate. ESO Plus is a monthly subscription service for Elder Scrolls Online that used to offer free access to all future DLC, just like Tarkov Edge of Darkness Edition. And like Tarkov today, approximately 6 years ago, Bethesda announced it was redefining the term DLC to weasel out of giving their most die-hard fans, those who continued to support the game and the developers they love so much with a monthly subscription, out of what they were promised. And as with the Tarkov community today, the ESO community revolted with talk of class action lawsuits or refund demands, mostly from the EU side of the community, whose governments actually have better protection for this sort of thing. Just like Battlestate has now offered their Edge of Darkness purchasers a 6-month free trial of the new DLC, and more recently, roll-in waves of access to the PvE servers, Bethesda made their expansions, which aren't DLC, remember, free to all ESO Plus subscribers, but only 12 months after the release of that DLC. For those not familiar with ESO, every new DLC comes with an overpowered best-in-slot gear that coincidentally only gets nerfed right before the next DLC is about to drop, making this 12-month delay in access to the expansion incredibly detrimental to anyone competing at the top end of PvP or PvE. As such, encouraging the most die-hard players to pay a monthly subscription and an additional bulk cost every 12 months. Why would players continue paying for the subscription if it doesn't give you access to the expansion DLC? Because it gives you access to additional benefits not available to other paying customers, specifically the crafting bag, a way to efficiently store crafting materials. Why is that important? Because Bethesda deliberately designed their crafting system to take up an unmanageable amount of inventory slots, so they could then sell the crafting bag in the ESO Plus subscription to solve the inventory problem they deliberately created in order to sell the ESO Plus subscription. Jim Stephanie Sterling has been warning us about this for decades. The game companies will deliberately design their game systems to have poor quality of life in order to sell you that quality of life as a DLC or a microtransaction. It makes me so fucking angry that game companies keep taking advantage of consumers, and even more angry that us as consumers keep making it worth their while by giving them our damn money. Oh, fucking... Not coincidentally, this increased inventory space is also another feature that has been denied the original Edge of Darkness purchasers and is being locked behind an additional $250 paywall. Bethesda has done it with Elder Scrolls and made an obscene amount of money from it. Now Battlestate is doing the exact same with Escape from Tarkov and will also make an obscene amount of money from it. The game industry learns from each other. They see what monetization strategies have worked for other companies and push the envelope just a little bit further. These sorts of manipulative and exploitative strategies were unimaginable 20 years ago, but every year we are conditioned to put up with just a little more bullshit. Every year we are milked just a little bit more. The games industry wants nothing more than to normalize this sort of monetization, and so far they have been overwhelmingly succeeding. And for the sake of gaming consumers, I hope to high hell that Tarkov players are successful in fully reversing this terrible decision from Battlestate. I truly do hope you succeed.